Okay, fair enough. We've got Stephen Scragg on the line. Are you, Steve? You okay?
Not so bad, Paul. How are we doing?
Yeah.
Steve.
Can you do Leonard Rossiter or not?
Miss Jones.
That's Frankie Howard.
Yeah, they all kind of morph into Frankie Howard or Frank Spencer, I find. Stephen, this Trent news, it's hardly a shock, but your initial reaction to what's been reported today?
Yeah, the more it's rumbled on, the less of a shock it becomes. I mean, it's disappointing to have the. It's not the official news as such, but it's near as damn it, isn't it? It's going to be a done deal. No one wants to lose a player of that calibre, of that value as well. And Real Madrid 3 times they've picked a player off us. 2 for free. One at a significant markdown in Michael Owen. Again, a touch of carelessness about it. It's a multifaceted thing. You don't want to lose a player of that calibre. No matter what. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're looking back on say, we all talk about how we lost Phil Coutinho, to Coutinho, and for the price of a Phil Coutinho, we got a Virgil van Dijk and Alisson Becker. There's got to be no cushion that's comparable this time around.
No, there isn't, and albeit you can't really gauge much of a reaction on Twitter or X, as they call it now, because people tend to lose their minds on that anyway. But a lot of people are saying that it's a betrayal of his boyhood club. Would you go along with that?
No, I wouldn't. He's invested a lot of time himself. Yes, Liverpool invested in, but he's invested in Liverpool. So part of me, I totally get where he's coming from. If we look back to say Steven Gerrard, was he wrong to stay? I think he probably was ultimately. Beyond the FA Cup in 2006, Steven Gerrard won a League Cup winners medal. And for the second half of his career, that's a paucity of what he should be doing. The Liverpool that Trent is projected to leave behind is a very different beast. We'd like to think. Hopefully, he'll be leaving behind the reigning league champions. So there's got to be life after him, but at the same time, no, I don't blame him for wanting to go.
Paul, whoever it is, you had it with Wayne Rooney in terms of trying to think back to that situation when Rooney left.
Slightly different circumstances.
Well, in terms of the financial element and the club, but let's be honest, if Rooney wanted to stay, he could have stayed, couldn't he?
I think Bill Kenwright had already started touting him around various different football clubs and had kind of reached an agreement down at Chelsea. And from what I understand, and this is just what I've heard, Rooney didn't want to go down to live in London and negotiated his own deal with Manchester United. But it was clear that the club needed him to go to survive, basically. So a little bit different.
But he got a hell of a backlash for going, didn't he?
He did, because of the way the club spun it, I think. It was spun as if he was making demands to leave the club when the chairman was touting him round to different clubs. And Everton had a sort of, during that period of time, they had a bit of a track record for that, because I think a similar sort of thing happened to Gary Speed as well when he was leaving.
Yeah, Stephen, if you the people who are blaming Trent, do people not also have to look at the club and the fact that this saga has gone on for so long, and could they not have agreed a new contract a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I think that's where I'd stand there. That if there's any kind of finger pointing, then it's the club's carelessness in allowing it to get to this situation. The fact that they've done it, for multiple players. We're still looking at Virgil van Dijk and wondering where he's playing next season. We're still looking at Mo Salah and thinking, where are you playing next season? We're even looking at Canate and thinking, where's your long-term future? There's a lot.
That is where Everton have done well with, for instance, Jared Branthwaite. Last year they got him to sign a new 5-year contract, even though he was only in 2 years into his original contract.
But I that's where a lot of people won't be able to understand. I know the sporting director has changed, and I know it's not as simple as saying just sign here, but surely they were making a concerted effort to get him signed up a couple of years ago to stop this from happening and not getting a fee.